Hey guys, Legendaray here, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Today, I've got a good one, and if you take a look at the screen right now, I just went 20-0 in the No Tilt 20 Win Challenge. And wait for it, I used an Xbow Mortar rocket deck. That's right, I probably used the most scummiest deck to win this challenge, but honestly, it's a bit of a surprising one. A lot of you guys probably don't see too much synergy in the deck. So hopefully today I'm going to hop into a couple of replays to hopefully showcase to you guys how exactly I play this type of deck. Now, another really special thing about this deck is that I actually used this deck to first reach 4,000 trophies like over 3 years ago. If you check like one of the earliest videos on my channel, I used a variation of this deck to actually reach 4,000 trophies. So this deck has a special place in my heart. But before we get into that, if you could please leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Also, go check me out on my Instagram and Twitter, links down below. And if you'd like to support me in game, feel free to use code Legendaray in the shop. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into some matches. Alrighty, so this first match here is going to be against Ogib from the clan La Mute. Yes, good. I pronounced that correctly. But yeah, he's using a Mega Knight bait deck, which can be a big issue for this, especially when he has Prince. So starting off here, I go ahead and get a King activation. I accidentally overcommit an Inferno Dragon there because I thought the Mega Minion was going to turn back and go for the Miner. So yeah, not the greatest start. But this matchup's kind of difficult because it's kind of hard to keep up with his cycle because he has so many bait cards, and I have a really slow cycle with this deck. But anyways, here I go in with that Mortar there to tank that Wallbreakers. You can see you have to be kind of creative with how you use your defensive buildings. Honestly, I use the defensive buildings as a tank so often, and here I just go in with the Royal Delivery on top of that Musketeer. So now this is where it gets kind of sketchy because he has a Prince, and this deck, it only has Royal Delivery to stop charges, and when you don't have that in cycle, you can see here, I basically just had to use the Bowler to try and just tank that entire Prince. It does that successfully with the help of the King Tower right there. And as you can see, the bats are taken care of rather easily. So now, I'm pretty sure he has a Mega Knight. I see the Miner, I see the Wallbreakers, and I see the Musketeer. Normally, Wallbreaker decks with the Musketeer will also have a Mega Knight in it, so that's just something to keep track of. So here, as you can see, I go in with an Xbow, again, to tank one of the Wallbreakers. The other one goes down, and here, I just go in with an Inferno Dragon to take out that Mega Knight. Pretty simple. He didn't need, oh, okay, he does use a Zap, but pretty late, allowing me to just go in with a Mortar on a counter push. So as you can see here, he kind of got caught off guard there and placed that Musketeer a little bit too far in the back. And as you can see, I have a bit of an Elixir advantage. That Musketeer is going to finish off that Mortar, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to go in with a Royal Delivery to finish off that Musketeer. Bad timing on my part. I'm still actually trying to learn the Royal Delivery timings. This is the first time I'm like seriously playing the Royal Delivery. But anyways here, Mega Minion right there, as you can see, reacting fast enough. And here again, I see that rocket value, so I will take that rocket value. Prince on that tower. Bowler will finish that Prince off, hopefully. And yeah, now we're pretty far ahead in damage, and I know this deck doesn't have a big spell, so yeah, he's going to go in with a Mega Knight on offense here, and as you can see, I'm just going to go in with a Mortar to tank, Royal Delivery down to finish off that Musketeer right there, like so. I'm just going to tank one of those Wallbreaker hits on that other lane, and then I'm just going to go ahead and follow up with an Xbow on offense, again, using that Xbow to actually do a majority of the tankage. So now, yeah, I just go in with a Bowler right there. Bowler's actually surprisingly tanky, and actually that Prince goes down right there. And the Xbow almost gets a lock onto the tower, but unfortunately the Musketeer does take that down. So heading towards overtime, I go in with a Royal Delivery onto those Wallbreakers. As you can see, the opponent went pretty aggressive in there, and he just didn't have enough, he couldn't react quick enough to that offensive Mortar. So there we go, another Mortar hit onto the tower. And with this deck, the only big spell you have, or the only real spell you do have, is the Rocket. So unfortunately, spell cycling can get a little bit sketchy, but here the opponent goes in with a Mega Knight in the back, and I decide to go in with that Rocket. I feel like with that really healthy defensive Xbow, I'm able to form a positive Elixir trade and kind of just go from there. So here, Royal Delivery down to finish off the Wallbreakers, Mega Minion down to DPS down that Prince, and as you can see, this push pretty much just got taken care of, and again, I used that Mortar. Kind of unfortunate, the Prince got a charge on it. didn't think it would actually happen, but yeah, again, going towards the last minute, the opponent's just trying to catch up on chip damage, and unfortunately, I can't let him do that. So, Bowler Tornado will finish off those Wallbreakers, and then I go in with a Royal Delivery and a Mega Minion to finish off that Prince right there. 60 seconds left, and as you can see here, again, I use that Mortar to tank for that push. That's kind of the crux of this deck. It's not too strong, like, ground defensively, surprisingly, but you can really use those Xbow buildings to do a surprising amount of tankage. So anyways here, Royal Delivery down finishes off that Prince and Bats right there. 39 seconds left here. He's kind of evened out damage on both sides. I go in with a Bowler on the left to finish this off, and as you can see, I go in with a Tornado over here. Again, I pull the Prince over to the Mortar because I want to use that Mortar to actually tank for the Bowler. And now 23 seconds left. I just go in with a simple Mega Minion Bowler to finish off those Wallbreakers like so. Again, I'm going to use a Mortar to tank for that Prince. And yeah, King Tower will take care of the remaining Bats. 10 seconds left. I Tornado everything over to the Boulder. He sends in his last set of Wallbreakers. I go ahead, Royal Delivery, send in a Rocket to his tower. And as you can see, by just playing some smart defense right there, I was able to just sneak out that tiebreaker win right there. Alrighty, so this next one here is against Laurel Esports from the clan Big Bears, and this is actually the battle that got me to the 20 wins. And as you can see, he's using a Royal Giant deck, so obviously he doesn't like Siege, and so we're just going to ruin his day by playing double Siege and finessing this deck. So starting off here, he's going to go in with an Heal Spirit right there. He's running a pretty fast cycle deck. It's a 2.9 Royal Giant cycle. So yeah, as you can see, our deck is pretty expensive, so we don't really make the first move too often. Actually, you know what, I lied, we do make the first move quite often. But anyways, here as you can see, that Royal Giant there, unfortunately is going to get quite a few hits onto the tower. Inferno Dragon was out of cycle, so yeah, that kind of screwed me over for that first push. But now I go in with a Mortar in the opposite lane. He's going to go in with a Hunter, and unfortunately that will be enough to finish off that Mortar. So now, as you can see, the opponent just one card away from Royal Giant. Now, I do have my Inferno Dragon in cycle, so at least I have a way to deal with his Royal Giants now. And the goal here is to get an Inferno Dragon locked onto the Royal Giant and then just Tornado the Royal Giant backwards. That is 9 times out of 10 going to be enough to finish it off. As you can see, I'm going to do that right here. I do have to cycle to the Tornado. He tries to reset, but the Inferno Dragon, I believe, is still going to be enough to stop that Royal Giant. No hits onto the tower. He's still going to have to respond to those to that little counter push right there. And yeah, now I'm about 2 Elixir ahead, and yeah, halfway through regular time. His Royal Giant is out of cycle, so as I reach 10 Elixir here, I think I'm just going to go in with an Xbow in the opposite lane. Yep, I do, and I go here with a Mega Minion. I tried to predict a Hunter, but unfortunately he's going to play his Hunter, you know, a little bit smarter here. And now I go ahead and get a Bowler down in front, just to tank for that Xbow. As you can see, he's trying to get his Royal Giant down in time. He couldn't right there, and the Xbow locks onto the tower. And here I realize that this is probably going to be the only Xbow lock I get, so I pretty much have to defend this with all my Elixir. So I go in with a Royal Delivery to finish off those Bats, and I get ready to defend a Royal Giant push in the opposite lane. He goes in with a Fisherman in the back, and I'm just going to Mortar opposite lane, and he's actually forced to use his Royal Giant. So now he can't build up his push on the other lane right there. And also his Royal Giant is out of cycle. So I go in with an Xbow here, and then I go in with a Mega Minion to finish off that Fisherman. And as you can see here, the opponent's just really trying to cycle back to his Royal Giant. He does get back to his Royal Giant, and he again has to play it down. So yeah, I'm gonna go in, I believe, with a Bowler, right, like that. And as you can see, he plays that Hunter there, but it's just going to get, like, destroyed by the Bowler. Again, I Tornado everything back, and then I go in with a Mortar, like so, to tank for the push, as well as force a response from him. He has to go in with Skeletons, and he's just scrambling to get back to his Royal Giant at this point. So yeah, as we head towards overtime, I still have the damage advantage, so obviously I'm just keeping up the pressure so that he can't build up the Royal Giant pushes he wants. And here, as you can see, I cycle right back to the Tornado. I Tornado that Royal Giant back, no chance of it getting any hits onto the tower. And yeah, I just go in with another Mortar. Let's kind of just rinse and repeat at this point. Whenever I just defend that Royal Giant push, I go straight in with a Siege building in the opposite lane. So as you can see here, Mega Minion, okay, does not finish off that Hunter. But yeah, here I go into the bowler like so, just to tank for that heal spirit because he has a fast cycle, so he can actually spell cycle rather effectively. And I don't want it to come down to kind of a spell cycle race because I'll definitely lose that. So here I go in again, Inferno Dragon, Royal Delivery clears the bats, and then I just tornado everything back to finish it off. At this point, it's kind of a boring match. We're doing the same thing over and over again. And yeah, as we head towards the last minute here, the mortar actually pops a shot onto the tower. That's what I love about the center placement so much. A lot of people will play their troops right at the bridge, and that'll actually allow a little mortar lock onto the tower. So now, again, I here go in with a Royal Giant. I go in with an Xbow opposite lane. His Royal Giant does get a hit, so kind of my bad right there. And he, of course, gets back to another Royal Giant like that. And now the opponent is trying to spell cycle us out, going in with those logs like that. But I'm just going to go in with a bowler like so. And that'll pretty much shut down any possibility of a push. 26 seconds left. He has kind of, tied up the damage here, but I just go in with a rocket, and I'm right back into the damage lead. So at this point, I'm just going to pile up all my stuff here. I believe, okay, I'm going with an Xbow here to tank. 10 seconds left. I go in with an Inferno Dragon. And then I just tornado that Royal Giant back. No big deal. Send in a rocket right there. And yeah, 2 seconds left, 1 second left. And as you can see, I'm going to actually win again by the tiebreaker. But as you can see right there, just by constantly cycling those siege cards and applying offensive pressure, you're going to be forcing your opponents to be constantly defending all of your annoying pushes. Alrighty, next up, this match here against Valentine from the clan MKERX. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. But starting off here, he goes in with the good game. All right. And of course, he's using the annoying, I'm using a double siege deck, but he's going in with the annoying Graveyard Barb Hut deck. And so starting off the match, first play he goes in with the Barb Hut, and I'm just going to whip out my double siege right here. Xbow snipes away at that hut like so. And yeah, this matchup's honestly very, very difficult because if they can get a graveyard down and they catch some of your cards out of cycle, you can be in some big trouble. So here he goes in with a push like this. Mega Minion will finish off those skeleton dragons, no big deal. Actually, one does survive, so that was a little unfortunate. But as you can see, the defensive Xbows are going to be absolutely crucial, and that Xbow just got so much value, allowing me to have enough elixir for a counter push mortar right there. So he's going to get a musketeer down. He goes in with a knight as well, and unfortunately for me, that will be enough to, kind of stop that mortar. Mortar does get a hit onto the tower right there, which is absolutely great, and I'm just going to kind of ignore that knight like so. Mortar gets a second hit onto the tower, and that's going to put us in a slight damage lead. So now I go in with an Xbow in the opposite lane, because I don't want him to get poison value. He's going to go in with a Barb Hut, and that's going to leave him pretty dry on elixir. So I'm just going to go in with a Mega Minion like so, finish off those Barbarians, and the Xbow is just going to snipe away at that Barbarian Hut. This is a big part of the deck. You don't want your opponents to build up those Barb Huts, because if they get those Barb Huts down, it's gonna be some trouble for you. So yeah, unfortunately here I did have to go in with a Royal Delivery, and that's just gonna leave me vulnerable to a push opposite lane. But as you can see here, Inferno Dragon in front so that the tower isn't distracted, and then a bowler to the side of that arena tower is usually gonna be the best placement to defend a graveyard. Unfortunately, Graveyard's a pretty RNG card, and as we head towards double elixir time, I'm gonna go in with a smart counter push right here. As you can see, I believe I'm going to tornado everything into the bowler like so. Unfortunately, I screw up the tornado and the musketeer didn't align properly. And yeah, here I just go in with a Royal Delivery. We do get an Xbow lock onto the tower though, and that's going to take his tower down to 18-12. So 38 seconds left in the match. He's going to get another Barb Hut down. So yeah, I'm just going to go in with a bowler, cycle to that Xbow, and then I believe I'm just going to play that down defensively to snipe that hut away. So 26 seconds left. Hut's getting sniped away. I have a bowler down. I believe here I go ahead and NATO everything into that bowler. Yep, there it is. And I don't want that musketeer to get so much value, so I'm just going to tornado everything in. Unfortunately, again, the bowler just doesn't align like I wanted to, and I have to use a Royal Delivery to finish everything off. So here I go with a mortar, again, tanking for that tower. And you can see here, the defensive Xbow will help that tower take care of the graveyard, while the mortar is just popping shots onto the opponent's tower. And as you can see, the opponent, he's getting a little thin right now on elixir. I take the damage lead. I go in with another Xbow on offense. And yeah, yeah, here the opponent kind of struggling to defend. I'm going to go in with a thing right there, and that's going to actually allow the Xbow to lock onto the tower, and he has no way of resetting that Xbow, so that's a GG, well played. Rocket will finish off the tower, and yeah, as you can see, taking down a Graveyard Barb Hut deck. This matchup's honestly a really, really difficult one, so yeah, really happy to have pulled this one off. Alright, so this next match going to be against Unbalanced 1K from a Russian clan, so he's going to be running a Golem deck, which is generally going to be a nice matchup. So here I go into the Mortar first play. I didn't do so in the other 3 matches. I'm not sure why. Maybe I just didn't have Mortar in cycle, but I do usually go in with a Mortar first play. And here, as you can see, he goes in with a Golem, and then the Inferno Dragon's just going to completely dismantle that Golem right there. This is what I love about this deck. People don't expect it. So, like, you go in with a Siege card, nobody expects you to have an Inferno Dragon. I mean, who runs an Inferno Dragon in a Siege deck? Well, I do. And here, as you can see, his Golem's out of cycle. I have a Bowler on a counter push, and I immediately go in with an Xbow. Mega Minion will finish off those Skeleton Dragons, and look at this. Xbow's locked onto the tower right there. He completely was caught off guard by the double siege, and I was able to sneak in a nice healthy lock. Here, unfortunately, his Goblin Cage does get 2 hits, but now he has no ground counters in cycle, healthy Mortar on the tower, and it's just going to go absolutely ham. I think he kind of just lets this tower go and tries to push into the opposite lane. But as you can see, this deck is very, very effective at just taking apart beatdown pushes. So, as you can see right here, he's going to go in with a Night Witch in the back. I kind of cycle a Royal Delivery. Didn't have the best cycle. But, yeah, I believe here I go in with a Bowler. Yep, I go in with a Bowler. And then I just go ahead and rocket this stuff out like so. Unfortunately, that's going to leave those bats. So as soon as I have Elixir for it, I'll just go ahead and tornado those bats away. That way that Bowler still has some health to tank. Now the Golem pops, towers will take care of one of the Skeleton Dragons, and then I'm just kind of spamming that Mega Minion at this point. I was kind of short on Elixir, so unfortunately this defense was not as clean as I would have liked. But hey, if you look at his upper left tower, it's down to 190, so I mean, I can't be too annoyed at that. So here I go in with a Mortar in the center. Looks like he's just going to let that tower go. And yeah, 49 seconds left is all we have to do to hold on. Again, I go in with an Inferno Dragon, and he just has no way to actually reset it. Inferno Dragon's going to completely tear apart that Golem, and then there's just almost no way he's going to break through the Bowler. The Bowler is such a tanky unit. I go in with a Royal Delivery. He's going to Lightning, but the Bowler still has half health, so yeah, I go in with an Xbow just to apply pressure, and as you can see, the Xbow actually locks onto the tower. So yeah, 22 seconds left. I go in with an Inferno Dragon because I know even if he places a Golem at the bridge, it's not going to reach the tower. 16 seconds left. I just go in with a Mortar. Again, it's going to lock onto the tower, but there's no point. I'm just stalling till the end of the match. He actually lightnings and takes out that tower, which I did not expect, but I just go in with a Bowler like so, followed up with a Royal Delivery, and then that Mortar is going to basically take his tower down to spell range. So I'm going to tornado all those bats away. Mortar, I believe, gets one more shot onto the tower. Actually, no, it gets one more shot after this one, and that's going to be a GG. Well played. Rocket finished off the tower, and yeah, there we go, taking down Golem Beatdown. Alrighty, last but not least, we're going to go over an Elixir Golem replay. And this deck, I'm going to tell you right now, it absolutely destroys every Elixir Golem deck. So if you absolutely hate Elixir Golem, this is your deck here. So starting off, he goes in with a Barb Hut. I get a little nervous because I think he's going to be using the Graveyard Barb Hut deck. And then he's going to go in with a Fireball onto the Xbow. And I'm like, yes, this is Elixir Golem. This is an easy matchup. So yeah, as you can see, Xbow will finish off the Barb Hut. And now I'm just going to kind of wait for him to build up a push, because I have so many ways to stop his pushes. The Bowler gets so much value against that Elixir Golem, and then I just have the Tornado Rocket for anything that I need. So he's going to split his Skeleton Dragons in the back. I'm going to go in with an Inferno Dragon here in the opposite lane. I'm trying to bait out his Elixir Golem, because he might think, oh, his Inferno Dragon's out of cycle. Let's Elixir Golem opposite lane, and then I just whip out the Bowler and destroy his whole push. But anyways, here, I go ahead and rocket out his Electro Dragon there. Again, I'm just trying to get him to like go aggressive with an Elixir Golem, because I know I can just plop down that Bowler and it's just gonna tear apart his push. So anyways here, Inferno Dragon gets a little sizzle onto the Barb Hut, and then I go in, I believe, with a Royal Delivery, and then a Mortar like so. Note how I play in the anti-fireball position so that he can't fireball it onto my weaker tower. So yeah, Mortar going to finish off those barbs and then lock onto the tower as he begins to build up his push. So as you can see here, you really want to save your bowler for his pushes. I did not play the bowler until he went in with that Elixir Golem. And as you can see here, the bowler's just going to tear apart his push. He's going to try and go in with an Electro Dragon, I believe. Oh, no, he's going to go in with Skeleton Dragons. And I'm just going to go ahead, NATO, and go in with the Royal Delivery like so. Unfortunately, the healer gets some value, and it's going to heal all those units up, but I do rocket that out before anything major happens. So 57 seconds left. He's starting to laugh because he realizes this is not going to be as easy of a match as he thought. And as you can see again, Xbow in the anti-fireball position so that he can't snipe it with the healthier tower. And then he goes in with an Elixir Golem in the back. So I just Mortar opposite lane, force out a response on his end, and he's going to have to use his Skeleton Dragons. Mega Minion two-shots those dragons, so no big deal right there. And Bowler on the other side is just going to tear apart that Elixir Golem. I go into the rocket right here onto that Electro Dragon, finishes off that healer as well. 22 seconds left. I'm going to go in with an Xbow with all that Elixir I'm about to get from those blobs. And unfortunately, he does get a Barb Hut down in time, so that kind of is a big rip for my Xbow push. But 10 seconds left in the match here. I almost get an Xbow lock onto the tower, but unfortunately he gets a battle healer down. So Mega Minion will finish off those Skeleton Dragons nice and easily. And as you can see now, I have a Mortar push in the left lane, an Xbow in the right lane. Xbow connects, Mortar connects on the other lane, and yeah, Bowler's gonna tear apart his Elixir Golem. He's going to fireball out the Xbow, but I'm going to go in with another Xbow right away. I go in with a Royal Delivery, I believe, onto everything. No, I do not. I just go in with an Inferno Dragon onto the Battle Healer right here. And again, as you can see, Xbow in one lane. I'm going to get a Mortar down in the other lane. I'm back to an Xbow. There's nothing he can do. I get another Xbow down onto the field. And as you can see, just completely tearing apart Elixir Golem. He didn't even have a chance in that matchup. So yeah, pretty solid deck as you can see. So there we go, guys. As you can see, finishing off a nice and clean 20-0 challenge. And as you can see here, this is the deck one more time. Feast your eyes on this deck. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more of this deck. I definitely plan on playing more, but my bowler's only level 11, so we'll have to level that up before we can play him. But unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. Huge thanks to all of my channel members. You guys are the absolute G's. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendaray, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.